Our ancestors used the bones of the dead to make vessels and tools. Human remains discovered in a cave in Spain show traces of processing. Recent analyses suggest. Their authors claim that our ancestors processed the bones of the dead into various vessels and tools. This is evidenced by artifacts made from them. For example, a drinking cup made of a skull. Caves have long been used as burial places. These practices date back to the beginnings of the Neolithic period. Although they may be older, archaeologists found the remains of 12 people in the Cueva del Mormoles cave in southern Spain. Radiocarbon dating indicates that these people were buried there between the 5th and 2nd centuries BC. However, this is not what caught the attention of researchers. Scientists found evidence that these bones were used to make various tools and vessels. Traces found on the bones indicate the deliberate fragmentation, cleaning of soft tissue remains and reuse. These data coincide with observations made in other caves from the same region, suggesting the presence, especially in the Neolithic period, of peculiar burial practices and common concepts regarding the human body. The results and description of the research were published in the journal, PLOS One. Scientists from the University of Bern in Switzerland and the University of Córdoba in Spain carrying out research in the Cueva del Mormoles cave found traces of processing on bones deposited there thousands of years ago. Scientists indicate that this type of modification of human bones is common at archaeological sites in this region of southern Spain. Although the cultural significance of this phenomenon is largely unclear, the Cueva del Mormoles cave lies approximately 70 kilometers south of Córdoba. Archaeologists believe that it was inhabited by prehistoric people at different times. In the 1930s, several ancient burials were discovered there. These graves were the subject of research in the years 1998 to 2018. Scientists identified the remains of 7 adults and 5 children or teenagers. The authors suggest that these modifications may have some symbolic meaning that may be discovered with further research. The way people treat and interact with the remains of the dead can teach us a lot about the cultural and social aspects of past populations, they said in the publication. The research team documented intentional post-mortem bone modifications. Among the remains was a tibia that was likely modified for use as a tool. There was also a skull that was turned into a cup or drinking vessel. Microscopic analysis of the bones showed that many of them showed signs of deliberate breaking, perhaps for the purpose of consuming marrow, and scraping, which may have resulted from attempts to remove soft tissue. As for the shin, scholars point to its polishing and indentations on parts of it, suggesting it was used as some sort of primitive tool. Although the authors have not revealed anything about its potential function. In turn, the chalice or bowl was made from the skull of a man who was between 35 and 50 years old at the time of his death. The analysis also showed that the skull had been stripped of its lower part and then subjected to repeated scraping to remove tissue remnants. The authors say that similar chalices have been discovered at several other Neolithic sites in southern Spain. These may have been attempts to gain access to the brain for consumption. Although some skulls show signs of later use, perhaps as drinking vessels. The bones of the dead could be used for various purposes. As already mentioned, they could be raw materials for making tools or weapons. They could be broken and processed to extract the brain or marrow, a valuable source of nutrients. Perhaps they were used in various rituals. But they could also be trophies.